Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And we're always glad to have our friend from the South, Joe Orgeron, joining us, District 54. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Look, I got to tell you, heard a lot of really positive things about this recent special session on crime.
The crime session went very well, very packed in, a lot of things, a lot of different aspects and facets that the governor wanted. And I believe the legislature recognized that changes need to be made in Louisiana for the betterment of our, to not be losing population, be all the states in the South except Louisiana are gaining population.
Right.
And we need to address the crime in order to reverse that outgoing trend.
Right.
And I believe that we delivered, the legislature delivered for them, and I think we'll see change.
It's exciting. It's exciting, especially with this general session coming up. And I know you got lots of things that you're thinking of. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on.
The general session starts Monday.
Right.
So we're kind of in the pregame time right now.
Sure.
Bills have been filed. I have two bills that deal with wildlife and fisheries.
Okay.
One of them is for the alternative oyster aquaculture cultivation.
Right.
Those that are growing oysters off bottom. They pretty much utilize and filled up all their space that they have available to them in the Grand Isle area.
Right.
And they need legislation passed in order to double the amount of space that they have. It had already been kind of like reserved for them.
Okay.
But they were only using half of that reserved space, and this is to open up the second half of that reserved space. The other one has to do, of course, with our favorite shrimp imports.
Sure.
And part of getting a handle on shrimp imports is to make sure that the Louisiana Department of Health does the testing on the imported shrimp for the banned chemicals, antibiotics, and things like that.
Right.
And there's a bill that they asked me. There are several representatives who have bills related to that, but Wildlife and Fisheries felt that their needs weren't being met, and they gave me a bill that they would like me to do.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's in your forte. I mean,
Absolutely.
it is what you know about how you can represent those people. There's a lot of people in the community that need those kinds of bills passed so that we can continue to make sure that we have what we need for our shrimp from our own backyard.
And I believe Representative Domain from the Lower Terrebonne area
Right.
as well has some good bills also to help the commercial shrimpers.
Right. We've got some resolutions as well, right?
Resolutions, yep. Got one for Coastal Conservation Association as the redfish
Yep.
recreational fishing. I'll be doing a presentation on Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
Celebrating their activities. Of course, we had some successes in getting the Menhaden boats. Putting a buffer.
Right.
I had tried running legislation 3 years ago. It failed,
Right.
and through their own fault of the industry having some incidences, they ultimately compromised which was the compromise ended up being exactly what my bill was.
That's exactly what your bill was asking for, right?
Exactly.
And so they had to do that, right?
Happy to get that done.
Right.
I think another resolution is Convention of States. I don't
Okay.
know how well the people are familiar, but in order to get term limits done for Washington, D.C., to control the power of Washington, we need to instill some guardrails, and the only way to do it is to do constitutional amendments
Right.
to our U.S. Constitution. And there's actually two ways to do it. And the second way that's never been used is a convention of states, where the actual legislatures of the states call a convention to propose.
Okay.
We want term limits for those that go to Washington. And Louisiana was number 8, state number 8.
Okay.
We need 34 states to pass this resolution, and we're currently at number 19. So
Oh, wow. So we've had some headway on that.
absolutely.
Moving forward with that.
So that's that one.
Yep.
And also the South Lafourche Nursing Home was closed in my hometown area, was closed
Right.
after Hurricane Ida.
Right.
And there's a statewide moratorium on nursing homes reopening for the time being. So I need to actually pass a legislative waiver in order
Okay.
to get the nursing home opened back up. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that.
Right. And, we need to be able to service that area. Right. And
Absolutely.
so we've got people that are coming from some 40, 50 miles that really need that. In fact, they're having to travel much farther than that to get to some of those area facilities that are farther away.
Keep in mind, Grand Isle as well is
Yeah.
part of my, even though it's Jefferson Parish, it's
Right.
part of our community of interest.
Correct.
And I thank Mayor Cormedale and the Grand Isle Council for writing a resolution, stating that it would be of benefit for the community to open up the South Lafourche Nursing Home again. And that goes along with Lafourche Parish government and the town of Golden Meadow. All of them proposed resolutions declaring that they would like that done.
Right. Right.
And let's see, other ones I got are about the levy board.
Right.
Both because of redistricting that happened at the last redistricting session, the North Lafourche Levy District board makeup has changed and requires a little bit of tweaking
Okay.
on how board members are placed. And that's kind of one. The other one is I was asked by some of the the levy managers to pass a bill on setting new Louisiana benchmarks, surveying benchmarks, the ones that the surveyors use
Okay.
for monitoring the heights of the levee. So that,
Okay.
so that they are getting to a millimeter level of accuracy in order to be able to know the difference between the compaction of the levees as well as the subsidence.
Right.
So it's technical,
Yeah.
but it's what's needed. It's as technology advances, our benchmarks and how we measure things need to advance. And putting this on the books is what's needed in order to make our point federally to Army Corps of Engineers
Right.
and FEMA and National Flood Insurance, et cetera.
Right. And all that topography can sometimes be different in how those change. We
right.
always appreciate the updates, always appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping
Thank
in.
you for allowing me, sir.
You got it. All right. All right, guys. And that will do it for this particular segment and this Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on HTV.